Adulterers and adulteresses, do you not know that friendship with the world is enmity with Elohim? Whoever therefore intends to be a friend of the world makes himself an enemy of Elohim. That's interesting that he would throw that in there after he first was talking about this warring around in our pleasures. He's saying you're acting like the world. That's what he's really saying here. When he says friendship with the world. In other words, when you do things like the world, you tend to act like and be like your friends. Most successful people out there, coaches, will say, I can learn so much about you. Just let me spend some time with the 3 people you spend most time with, and I'll know a lot about you. Because you will tend to be like them. We are very influenced by the people we spend most of our time with. And if you don't like where you're at, maybe you need to spend time with different people. I'm not picking on who you're spending time with. But if you want to elevate in whatever part of your life from where you are to a higher level, the people you're with are the people that got you to the level you're at now. You might need to at least add some new ones to the mix that are at a level you want to move up in. Whatever area of your life we're talking about. It could be financially, it could be health, it could be something. Whatever it is, if you're not spending time with people that have what you want that you don't have, then it's going to be a lot harder for you to get there. Because the people you're with aren't going to. It's like going to broke people for financial advice, which most of you do, by the way. You talk to all your friends who are just as broke or worse than you, and you think you're going to get financial advice, instead of asking somebody that has the finances you'd like to have and saying, how did you do that? Okay? Same thing with health. You talk to other sick people instead of talking to people that were sick and now were healthy and figured out how they got there, or got into shape, or lost weight, or whatever it is, or broke a habit like smoking or whatever. You know, you have to go ahead and make sure you're spending the time with those that have successfully done it. This is the whole point of the scripture, though. From the first great command, we know one person successfully did all of this, one being, and that's Yeshua. And so we want to know what he did. How did he do it? How did he accomplish that? How is he now sitting at the right hand? He said, well, everything my Father says is what I do, and everything that I say is what he tells me to say. I don't do anything that disrespects or shames him in any way. I only do things that glorify his name and bring him honor and respect. And then we can imitate that. And then we can have the same results. And that's really the whole point of the scripture, is for you to see the behavior of people from Genesis all the way through, and recognize certain behaviors, well, not certain, all behaviors brought a result of some sort, and certain behaviors brought a result that you would desire, and other behaviors brought a result you would not desire. And if you act in line with the desirable ones, you'll get the desirable result. If you act in the other way, you get the undesirable result. And so he's trying to say, look, this has to do with our friendship. Okay? That doesn't mean you don't interact at all with the world. I mean, John 17, Yeshua makes it very clear, Father, I'm not praying that you take them out of the world, but that they're not of. And that's the idea of friendship. Friendship is a deeper relationship. You know, Yeshua at that point also in John 17 says, look, I don't call you students anymore, I call you friends. See, but we don't use the word friend, I think, appropriately. I think we are very casual with it. Anybody that you're polite with and sort of friendly with, we call friends. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. I think friend is a much deeper relationship than that, okay? And so, well, I like this person, and I enjoy their company. Well, that could build into a friendship. That doesn't mean you're friends. And because you click something on Facebook that says friend doesn't mean you're friends, okay? It just doesn't. And so he's saying here, we are not to have friendship with the world, because being the world is at enmity. It's an enemy of Elohim. The behavior, their mindset. He says, when you're doing this striving and fighting and seeking your own pleasures, you're acting like the world. Isn't that what the world does? You know, Yahweh said this in the very beginning before he did the flood. He said, everything that they're desiring to do is focused on their mind. Their thoughts, their heart is on evil continually. And evil almost always comes out of the pleasures or desires inside you. Don't blame Hasatan for all that. If it wasn't in you, it wouldn't come out of you. And he didn't put it there. He encourages you to do it. He inspires you to go for it. But if it's not there, there's nothing to work with. That was the whole problem with Job. With Job, he says, Yahweh says, well, what do you think of Job? He says, well, I got nothing I can work with over there. Of course, then he says, well, it's because you give him everything. But he still said, there's nothing for me to work with. Because Job was righteous. He was a tzaddik, a righteous one. And so we're striving to become tzaddiks, tzaddikim. We're going to become righteous ones, which means Hasatan would not have anything to work with. But if you're friendly to the world, if you hang out with and you're seeing them, that's when you start thinking, well, that looks fun, or I might like to do that, or that may be a good approach to things, and it's the world's way, not his way, then you end up in enmity. Enmity is a state that says you're an enemy of. You basically have made yourself an enemy of Elohim.